Welcome to this episode of Uplifting News Sleep Aid Daily, where we read you good news to fall asleep to. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. Our uplifting stories include Blasphemy to be decriminalized in Scottish hate crime bill, a Los Angeles artist gives her neighbors a walk-by gallery, and mosques across the U.S. open their doors to blood donors during Ramadan. Now, breathe in. Breathe out. And relax as we dive into these stories. Our first story is from The Guardian. Blasphemy to be decriminalized in Scottish hate crime bill. The Scottish government has published a bill that would decriminalize blasphemy more than 175 years after the last case was prosecuted. The Devolvement Administration in Edinburgh said the continued criminalization of blasphemy, which falls under hate crime laws, no longer reflects the kind of society in which we live. Justice Minister Humza Yousaf said the law would be modernized and also cover discrimination against age, disability, race, religion, and sexual orientation. Stirring up of hatred can contribute to a social atmosphere in which discrimination is accepted as normal, he said. By creating robust laws for the justice system, Parliament will send a strong message to victims, perpetrators, communities, and to wider society that offenses motivated by prejudice will be treated seriously and not be tolerated. The bill was welcomed by Humanists UK, which has been campaigning against blasphemy laws since 2015. Humanists have been calling on governments everywhere to repeal laws like these in solidarity with the victims of oppressive blasphemy laws around the world, its chief executive, Andrew Copson, said. If this law is passed, Scotland will become the latest in a series of countries, including Denmark, Canada, Greece, and Ireland, to decriminalize blasphemy. The last recorded charge of blasphemy in Scotland was brought against bookseller Thomas Patterson for exhibiting placards of a profane nature in his window shop in 1842. Blasphemy laws were repealed in England and Wales in 2008. Our next article is from the LA Times by Haley Branson Potts. Read by special guest, Garth Kravits.
Amid coronavirus closures, a Los Angeles artist gives her neighbors a walk-by gallery. The mask-clad dog walkers stop and look, so do the kids on bikes, and the joggers, and the couples out for a stroll with a glass of wine. In a leafy Sherman Oaks neighborhood, a little red easel by the curb with a new watercolor painting every day has provided something much needed as the formless days of the coronavirus stay-at-home orders stretch into weeks. Something to look forward to. Every morning, artist Catherine Pitt sets out a new piece by her driveway, then goes back inside. It's contactless art in the age of social distance. She calls it the Passers-by Gallery. So many more people are walking by these days, said Pitt, 47. They're cycling, they're jogging, family units are out, and people are strolling. I just thought this was something I could do to make people a little bit happy in these times. With the traffic quieted and the parks and beaches closed, neighborhood streets have become a refuge for the bored and the anxious. There has been no shortage of ways people have tried to cheer each other up. Sidewalk chalk art from children and parents encourages people to stay safe and remember the good. Painted rocks with encouraging messages started popping up all over one Santa Clarita neighborhood, as did painted tiles along Caliuca and Thousand Oaks. Pitt set out her first watercolor March 22nd, a cluster of 4 ducks on the water, swimming away. "Stay well, stay positive," Pitt wrote in a gallery-style description affixed to the easel, explaining that she would try to do this every day. One of the first paintings, titled Social Distancing, featured 3 penguins on the snow, a good amount of space between them. "TGIF, although it could be any day really, right?" she wrote. Others were portraits of longing. 4 people lounging on the sand on a sunny day. "One day we'll be back there," she wrote. The Walt Disney Concert Hall. Remember downtown? Two little boys playing basketball, inspired by a next-door neighbor who really misses sports. Others were dedicated to life amid stay-home restrictions. A jogger in a racerback tank top, her ponytail flying. A boy in a striped shirt lying on the floor playing with a tablet. A gray-haired couple. A bespectacled woman with red shoes linking arms with a man on a cane, out for a walk. On a gray sky Monday, she painted a little boy in red shorts and a blue shirt, sitting on the curb, his blonde head in his hands. Monday Blues, she titled it. Here we go into another week, the description read. More anxiety and frustrations, I'm sure. What we feel the whole world feels too. Hang in there. Inspiration came easily at first, but she never imagined she'd be doing this for more than a month. Before COVID-19, Pitt, who was originally from London and moved to the States with her family a decade ago, mostly did pet portraits. It was something she started after trying unsuccessfully to do paintings for children. Americans just love their pets very much, she said. She's still in awe that people trust her to make art that they will hang in their homes and see every day. She likes painting dogs the most. They have so much personality. When the stay-at-home orders began, Pitt knew her work would dry up. The anxiety and the fear that everyone felt was palpable. But the people walking by inspired her. She wanted to give back to them. On a rainy day earlier this month, she brought her painting inside and left the red easel out by the curb. Someone took it. A UPS delivery driver told her someone had carted it off on a bicycle. Word got out. 5 days later, some neighbors Pitt hadn't known too well brought it back. They had found it shattered in a shopping cart. They repaired and repainted it and brought it back. It made me want to cry, Pitt said. Just before 8:30 a.m. Monday, beneath another gray sky, she set out the day's work. Two curvy women in black bikinis walking away, clutching their flip-flops. Week 6, she wrote. It feels to me like time has stopped. She went back inside. A few minutes later, neighbor Ellen Kornblum, walking at a steady clip, stopped briefly and chuckled at the painted ladies. Haven't seen that view recently, she said. Morwenna and Stuart Moore came strolling by with Dudley, their old Beagle Basset Hound mix. A few days ago, their 5-year-old son, obsessed with airplanes, had asked Pitt to paint one. She obliged, with a big red and white jet soaring through the clouds. He was delighted. It's now the small things of the moment that people look forward to, Stuart Moore said. Chris Johnston, a major gifts officer for the Los Angeles Opera, stopped his bright red bicycle and hopped off to take a cell phone photo of the painting. He does a 10-mile bike ride from his home in Studio City every day, mixing up his routes to keep it interesting. He spotted a painting a few weeks ago, and now rides by daily. He sends pictures to his mom and sisters in Montana. It's such a positive message every time, he said. This is a tough time, but we're in it together.
This podcast is hosted on Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free, there's creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Our last article is from Newsweek by Sophia Waterfield. Mosques across the U.S. opened their doors to blood donors during Ramadan. Muslims are flocking to mosques across the country to donate blood during Ramadan as part of a blood drive coordinated by the American Red Cross, Ahmadi Muslim Community USA Muslims for Life Initiative, Ahmadi Muslim Youth Association, and Humanity First USA. According to the American Red Cross's website, 250,000 potential blood donations have been canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. To meet the needs of 2,700 hospitals and transfusion centers across the country, the organization needs to collect 15,000 every day. To help achieve this, the Red Cross has teamed with Muslim organizations to utilize mosques, which remained closed for large gatherings but are open for essential services, for blood donation centers. The Ahmadi Muslim community will provide venues to the American Red Cross under their 62 U.S. chapters, according to The Hill. The Ahmadi Muslim community was founded in 1920 and has millions of members in 213 countries. It has its own youth group and a relief organization and has worked to combat the negative perceptions of the religion following the September 11th terrorist attacks through its Muslims for Peace campaign. The Red Cross has put out a call for blood donations to help meet patient needs during the COVID-19 outbreak. On its website, the Red Cross reassures Americans that it follows the highest standards of safety and infection control, as volunteer donors are the only source of blood for those in need. There is no known end date in this fight against coronavirus, and the Red Cross needs the help of blood and platelet donors and blood drive hosts to maintain a sufficient blood supply for weeks to come, the website says. You can make an appointment to give blood on the American Red Cross website by choosing your local blood donation center using your zip code. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Community's USA's Sleeves Up Facebook page shows 60 pledges have been made out of the target of 1,000. For those donating at one of their mosques, share your pictures and updates on social media using #MuslimsForLife. That's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us at Uplifting News Sleep Aid Daily. Visit unsadpodcast.com for more information and links. That's UNSADpodcast.com. Stay safe and stay inside.